Hey guys, Chris here with Deadman Duelist, and I have a update to my previous deck profile video of my Burning Abyss deck. Recently I was able to get a new card and cards in general, so I was able to make a few adjustments to my previous version. Also, I was able to modify what I have already done. So this should be a little bit interesting. And sorry about the cord that's hanging. That's my headphones. I am trying to move it out of the way, but it keeps getting back in the way. So, starting out with spells, I am running 1 Raigeki, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Dark Hole, 3 MST, and 3 Good and Evil of the Burning Abyss. So, if you watched my original video of this, you'd already know that these were the same cards that I used in the previous video. Technically, I didn't have to change any little thing, because the spell count is actually very decent and well. I will be going over why I have these in the deck. Raigeki, Tight Situations, Soul Charge, just to regain Burning Abyss monsters and XP materials. Dark Hole, self-explanatory. Good and Evil, banish it from the graveyard, send a card from your hand to the graveyard, add any Burning Abyss, so your searcher. MST is MST, so self-explanatory. That's our spell lineup, so I'll just move that to the side. So for our trap cards, now this is just one little minor detail. Oh yeah, I also cut my gold sarcophagus that I put in there because I finally figured something out to switch. So 1 card, or crush card, virus, 1 breakthrough, 1 black horn of heaven, 1 solemn warning, 1 vanities, and 3 exchange of spirit. So I did cut the gold sarcophagus, and I cut it for a 3rd exchange of spirit. The thing is, the only reason I had gold sarcophagus in there was to put another exchange of spirit in my hand before I milled it and sent it to the graveyard. So what exchange of spirit does, I can pay 1,000 life points, but I can only do this if both players have 15 cards in their graveyard. But either way, I can pay 1,000 life points, and then both players switch their decks with their graveyard. So if any XYZ monsters, fusions, or synchros are in the graveyard, it just goes to your extra deck. Everything else just goes to your deck, and then your deck gets replaced with the graveyard. But your extra deck doesn't go into your graveyard because that's technically not your deck. I know it makes not a lot of sense, but the sense and logic is in there somewhere. So, I run Crush Card Virus because a lot of the times my opponent will have heavy beat sticks on the field, and I can't get past them with a Dante or a Beatrice or anything. So I will have Crush Card Virus on the field, and then I will tribute Graph, Backjack, or anything under 1,000 attack points that's a dark monster. Then I can just destroy their field. So that's very useful. Breakthrough skill is breakthrough skill. The reason I'm running breakthrough skill is technically when it's sent to the graveyard, I can still use its effect, and it's an effect Veiler. When it's on the field, I can just activate it, and it's an effect Veiler. I actually do think effect Veiler is much better than breakthrough skill, but breakthrough skill is much suited to this deck because this is a mill deck, so you're not going to want to have a lot of cards that you can't use in your graveyard. Black Horn of Heaven. Black Horn of Heaven technically is just a 2nd Solemn, but it only works on 1 monster, so it's not all that good. And then I actually run a Solemn Warning, so that's self-explanatory. Vanity's Emptiness. Negate special summonings. That's both players, technically. But in Burning Abyss, you're going to want to send a lot of cards to your graveyard. So when a card is sent to the field or anywhere to the graveyard, Vanity's Emptiness goes to the graveyard. Or destroys itself, technically. So Either way, it stops some special summonings for a turn, depending on how good your field is. Exchange of Spirit, I already explained that, so I'm going to move this to the side. Now for the monster cards. I run 2 Absolute King Backjack. The reason I run this is the reason why I have trap cards. Yeah. Backjack, when he's sent to the graveyard, reveal the top 3 cards and put them in any order you like. Then, during either player's turn, I think it's during either player's turn. I'm not reading it, I don't feel like it. Technically, the turn that it wasn't sent to the graveyard, you could banish it from your graveyard, then send the top card of your deck to the graveyard. If that card was a trap card, you can set it right from the graveyard to the deck or to the field. But if it was a spell or monster card, just send it to the graveyard. So it's very good. Okay, so I'm running 1 Tour Guide. Tour Guide is self-explanatory. Special summon a Burning Abyss. Its effects are negated, so you can just exceed from there. 1 Graph. I'd rather run 3, but the ban list won't let me, so sadly. Run Barbar. I'm running 1 Barbar now because I don't like banishing from this deck from the graveyard as much, because the Exchange of Spirit is now more helpful. So you're gonna want to recycle your Burning Abyss monsters, and you can't do that if they're banished. So I'm also running 2 Rubik now. Rubik is the Burning Abyss tuner monster, which is kind of obvious what I have in my extra deck now. But Rubik doesn't really have any effect besides the normal standard Burning Abyss effect. If there's a monster that's not a Burning Abyss monster on your side of the field, destroy it. You can special summon it if you have no spell or trap cards. You can only activate the effect once. It doesn't have a graveyard effect, but it's actually very useful just for that 1 synchro. So that's good. Okay, so I run 2 Alec. Alec is technically another effect veiler, but when it's sent to the graveyard. Yeah. 2 Sir, your Monster Reborn. I would run 3, but the ban list won't let me. 2 Drahig. Drahig just searches for a Burning Abyss monster and puts it on the top of your deck when Drahig's sent to the graveyard, technically. 3 Kagna. So Good and Evil, you can't really use it if it's in your hand, so using Kagna, sending it to the graveyard directly, that's kind of the main reason why I run Kagna, Kagna, sorry, but, it won't hurt if you draw Good and Evil with the Burning Abyss, because once you can send another Burning Abyss to the graveyard, you could just send a second copy of this from your hand to the graveyard to activate its effect. So that's very useful. I'm running 3 Farfa. Farfa is your banishment. You can banish a monster card from your opponent's side of the field, and then it's banished. And then at the end phase of that turn, return it to the field. It doesn't say special summon, so Vanities or Solemn Warning wouldn't work on it, sadly. Okay. I'm running 3 Calcab. Calcab bounces a face up or face down spell or trap card from your opponent's side of the field to your opponent's hand. So that's pretty useful. I'm running 3 Libic. Libic's effect: when you send to the graveyard, special summon a Burning Abyss from your hand. Its effects are negated, and then with that you could just XYZ summon from there. But if you had an XYZ monster like Beatrice on the field, or number 47 Nightmare Shark, or anything else that's not a Burning Abyss, it doesn't have to go to the graveyard because it was its effects was negated. So that's very useful. I'm running 3 Scarm. Scarm is your searcher. When it's sent to the graveyard at the end phase, when it's sent to the graveyard and when it turns to the end phase, you could just search for a Burning Abyss monster or a level 3 Fiend type monster, which you can search out your tour guides pretty easily. So once you could just search it for it and then put it in your hand. So pretty easy, very useful. Extra deck is pretty much the same. So one wind up Zen Menace, or Zen Manus. Zen Manus' effect is when he's in defense position or if he's destroyed by a card effect or by battle, detach an overlay unit, it's not destroyed. You can do that as many times as you like, depending on how many units you have. Then at the end phase of the turn, if it's still on the field, you can destroy a face-up card your opponent controls. So it's very useful. Triage Levia. I actually don't use Triage Levia as much as I should or could. So I advise taking it out for any other rank 3 you would like one of the... I don't know what it's called, but it's a Phantom Knight rank 3. But you can take that out for there. Oops, I literally just dropped everything. Okay, so what Triage Levia does, it takes 3 level 3 monsters, detach 1 overlay unit, all your monsters gain 800 attack points for the end of the turn. So it's very useful. Very effective if you ever actually want to use it. I'm also running the Blue Megazord, which is Super Quantal Mech Beast Grand Pulse. Big name. What it does is just, it's a 2800 defense wall. Detach an overlay unit, destroy face down or face up spell or trap card. So it's pretty good. Number 47, Nightmare Shark. Nightmare Shark is just in case your opponent has a big army of monsters and you just need to get rid of your opponent's life points pretty fast. That's about it. I'm running 148 Shadow Lich, so I'm actually going to spread these out a little. But Shadow Lich effect, detach an overlay unit, and then you get a token. Your opponent can't attack Shadow Lich until they destroy the token. Pretty basic. So I'm always running 3 Dante. 3 Dante is pretty self-explanatory. I'm moving these now, so if you don't know what Dante does, I suggest you find out by searching it yourself. Troll. I'm running 3 Ghost Trick Alucard. Alucard just detach and then you can destroy a set card. You don't have to run 3 Alucard, it's just what I have, so I'm going to use it. So, I don't have Beatrice yet, but if you guys do, you don't have to use Shark Caesar. I have Shark Caesar in here, as I've always done in my Burning Abyss deck, even before I got my Dantes. It was just my beat stick at the my only big attacker that I could use. But I would recommend taking out Shark Caesar for Beatrice. It would just make the deck better, obviously, because it's Beatrice. But what Shark Caesar does, once per turn, well, let's clarify one thing. It can take up to 3 level 3s to 5 level 3 monsters for overlay units. So that's very useful. But once per turn, you could detach an overlay unit, then it gains a counter, or a counter, sorry. It gains a counter. And then during the battle phase, or I guess the damage step, every time your opponent would attack, or I would attack, it gains 1,000 attack points for every counter on it. So, technically you have a 6,800 attacker. Well, if you have 5 overlay units and you detach all of them. But the thing is, it's easy to get rid of by card effects like Rogeki, Dark Hole, Solemn Warning, Bottomless Trap Hole, all those good cards that can kick its butt. But yeah. And last card in the deck, I'm running a Virgil. I only have 1 Virgil at the moment. I will be getting more, and once I do get more, I'm going to be putting in more Rubik. But I do wildly suggest taking out the Triage Levia, and number 48 Shadow Lich for 2 more Virgil. That, or take out 2 Ghost Drake Alucard. Or Alucard and a Shadow Lich or Triage Levia. Either way, those 3 aren't all that helpful, so taking those out for Virgil is very useful, very helpful. But the thing is, Virgil, you can only have one of them on the field, and what it really does is a built-in Castell, the Musketeer, Skyblaster, whatever. I can't think of names. Well, technically, you can just send a Burning Abyss from your hand to the graveyard, and then shuffle 1 card on your opponent's side of the field or graveyard into their deck. So, helpful. And when it's sent to the this card is sent to the graveyard, you can draw a card right after that. So, yeah. And if you did enjoy the video, and if you like some of my ideas for how I run the cards, how I explain things, then please thumbs up this video. If you have any ideas or little things you'd like to share on your opinion, just comment down below and subscribe, please. Okay, Chris signing out.